Chelsea fans, that is exactly what needed to happen today. Chelsea 3, Legia Warsaw 0, professional job, first leg, job done. Tick that off the box. The first half, abysmal. Absolutely abysmal, woeful in terms of entertainment. We completely dominated this game all the way through. Liga didn't really look too much of a threat throughout. Second half, we changed the game. There's a few players that we need to talk about for sure. So if you are new to this channel, you enjoy Chelsea content, make sure you leave a like and subscribe. We're on the road to 10k by the end of 2025. Let's get into this match reaction. Starting off with the first half, you look at the lineup that Enzo Maresca put out, and again, it just seems so wild. We had 3 right backs on the pitch. Reece was playing in midfield, you had Gusto, you had Ashimpong, who I'm glad got some minutes, you had Tyrique George, who I'm glad got some minutes. We were playing some youngsters, and admittedly, there were 2 first-teamers in that starting 11 when you really think about it. You had Reece James and Cole Palmer. Cole Palmer looked a bit off it today. I think KDH had a fantastic game throughout. He gets a lot of stick. We know he's not Chelsea quality, but in this Conference League, he seems to find his own. Now, you could say that is a testament to his skill level and he's found his level of Conference League, right? However, you can only play who's in front of you, and he is taking his opportunities when he's getting them in the Conference League. He was unlucky not to get on the score sheet, in my opinion. But we dominated the game. We did this typical sideways, backwards passing like we always seem to do. And I'm not surprised if you fell asleep in that first half. Honestly, it was so dry. It was so boring to watch. Defensively, we were solid. Liga didn't really test us too much. A couple of chances where they put their shots wide, high, or out of play, but nothing that really tested Jorgensen. I'm surprised he didn't fall asleep in the net, to be fair. But you can only play who's in front of you, and it was a very professional job from Chelsea tonight. And ultimately, that second half, that's where Enzo Maresca redeemed himself and the play opened up and it became a lot more exciting and we got the job done, which is great because we can now focus on Ipswich on Sunday, and then the return leg is pretty much job done. So we can just play the kids and trying to, hold out and maybe go get 1 or 2, but there's not as much pressure, which is exactly the position we wanted to be in. Now, again, with the first half, nothing really worked going from the midfield to the final third. It was like we were trying to create these chances, nothing was coming off. There was just no shots taken, and if they were poor. In Nkunku, I don't understand how he started. He played a lot better in that second half when Enzo Maresca moved him, but in that first half he was woeful. The penalty he took, guy can't catch a break, couldn't score. I mean, yeah, it was the right height for the keeper. It was an okay penalty. It was a great save from the keeper. You never expect the keeper to save a penalty, but it was a good save. It wasn't like he tipped it. He got hands to it. But Nkunku can't catch a break. He really, really can't. He worked a lot harder in that second half. In the first half, he might as well have been off the pitch. Might as well have been off the pitch, mate. Pedestrian again. But you have to praise Enzo Maresca for that second half, the tactics, the substitutions. Colwell comes on for Tosin. They didn't actually say if Tosin picked up a knock or anything, so I don't know if it's more injury related rather than tactically related, because I thought Tosin was pretty solid and had a fairly good half. But we brought on Noni Madueke. Palmer was taken off. He's clearly being rested for the Ipswich game on Sunday. And if I'm being honest, he didn't really have a good half when he was playing. He kind of looked a bit off it, couldn't connect the play very well, just looked a bit off it, But Noni Madueke comes on, Nkunku somehow stays. But again, when it works, you have to give credit to Maresca. His man management was spot on. He's moved Nkunku. You had Tyrique George playing as a 9, gets his first Chelsea goal, and you could see how much it meant to him. So happy for George to get his first Chelsea goal. It was a good little finish, good running into the box to make sure he was there for that tap-in. Sancho then comes alive, gets 2 assists. Where is this before? Like, the second half, we moved in such a different fashion where we actually wanted to attack and we were stretching Liga a bit. Maybe they were also getting a little tired and Chelsea just had that fitness over them, and where we were passing the ball, they were chasing shadows and we nearly bored them to sleep in the first half. Maybe that's what it is. That's the trick. Send them to sleep in the first half, go out in the second half, counter, get an early goal, right? But admittedly, Enzo Maresca got this spot on in the second half. 2 good goals from Noni, 2 assists from Sancho, a goal from Tyrique George. The play looked a lot better, and I tell you what, there are certain players that are so integral to Maresca's system. One of them being Marc Cucurella. When he comes on, the whole game transforms. Bombing up and down that left-hand side, connecting the play between midfield and the final third. Defensively solid. Badiashile had a good game today. Colwell played well when he came on. Reece James played well in midfield. A lot of people are against it. I'm still on the fence. I like him as a right back because we know this is where his qualities are, but he did have a good game in the middle of the park. And I think these Conference League games are the games to experiment with things like that. So I'm not too mad at it. Ashimpong, so happy he got minutes. He played fantastic today. As always, I'm glad that he's taken his opportunity. Tyrique George, unbelievable today. I'm glad he's got his first Chelsea goal. Kunku obviously slipped and just didn't really have a great game. The second half, he did redeem himself. He was putting a lot more work in, and things were coming off. We saw Mugu get some minutes. We saw Mweka come on and have some minutes. So happy that the youngsters are getting their opportunity in European football. Yes, it may only be the Conference League, but like I always say, you can only play who is in front of you. And overall, it's just a professional performance. And Kunku stunk out the gaff in that first half and redeemed himself in the second, but did miss the penalty. So, I still think he's one of the first names on the list of selling players in the summer. He has to go, in my opinion. But again, people want to question Maresca's lineups. I also do. I think it was wild to start the game that way. However, it did make sense to rest some players for the Sunday game. Surprised that Jackson didn't get any minutes at all, nor are the other first teamers really. Happy that Caicedo was rested and wasn't, relied upon in this game at all. Again, I think KDH was up there for man of the match with me across the whole game, right? I think he was so unlucky to not get on the score sheet today, and he was integral to how we played. I think, again, he played very, very well. And yeah, job done. 3-0 in the first leg. We play Ipswich on Sunday. Hopefully we can get 3 points. Next Thursday we have the second leg at Stamford Bridge. It's going to be incredibly difficult for Legia Warsaw. They're going to have to come on and attack us. We can effectively just sit back and defend if we want to. I hope it isn't just going to be that. I hope we are going to try and at least get 1 or 2 goals and really kill the tie off and just set the tempo, take the lead, dominate possession, sit back and just keep a clean sheet. And then we should, in theory, be through to the semi-finals relatively easy. But tonight, fair play to Enzo Maresca with his wild tactics because it paid off. And when it pays off, you have to give him credit. Jorgensen did fantastic, another clean sheet, didn't have to do a lot really, let's be honest. And I think the players, even though it was boring in the first half, we dominated from minute sort of 2 to the end of the game, controlled the game. Legia Warsaw weren't a threat, which was kind of be expected. Some people say, oh, we should have won 4, 5, 6, 7-0. I don't really understand that. Enjoy the fact that our team went out there, did the job, didn't make a hash of anything, we didn't concede any silly goals. We've got the 3-0 cushion that we wanted at the start of the game. And now we can enjoy it. And now we can actually go and do another hate watch for Tottenham, for Man United, and just see what happens tonight. So, yeah, 3-0 to Chelsea in the first leg. Professional performance. I want to know your thoughts and opinions down below. Who do you think played well? Who was your man of the match? Who do you think played the worst? Curious to know your thoughts. Love having a conversation with you guys. I also want to know your thoughts. Is Noni Madueke our best winger? Because I personally think that he is, and a lot of Chelsea fans seem to not like Noni. I personally think that the Noni hate is forced at this point. I think he's our best winger with the best output. And I know it's a Conference League game and he scored 2, blah, 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 blah. However, you can only play who's in front of you, who's come on, he's made a massive impact. He played so good in that second half. So I'm curious to know, do you guys rate Noni Madueke? Do you think he is our best winger? Or are you looking to sell him in the summer? Because I'm genuinely baffled if you think that way. Genuinely baffled. But I'd like to know your thoughts and opinions. Noni Madueke was absolutely fantastic. Now, I would probably put him close to man of the match because of his instant impact. However, I feel like KDH would deserve it, in my opinion, because he played well across the 90 and Madueke come on that 45. He was so electric, so different to the rest of our wingers. I think Tyrique George is exciting. Noni Madueke is exciting. Sancho came alive and got his assists because the space opened up in front of him, so he had a bit more to play with to set up Noni Madueke. But it's the running in behind, it's the chance creation, it's putting them chances away. 2 very good goals from Noni Madueke, let's say. He obviously needs a mention because he was also fantastic. And if you are new around here, you enjoy Chelsea content, you're a Chelsea fan, there'll be a thumbnail that pops up on the screen to make sure you click that thumbnail because you enjoy that video too.